So there.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
Why do you keep saying let us know your thoughts?
Let me know your thoughts to me is a nice lead-in for So there. So there.
Welcome to episode 69 of
So there.
I'm Gary Doyle.
And I'm Tom Karamitis.
How are you, Tom?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. It's been a while since we've done this. Wasn't our last episode another experimental episode that our listeners love?
I thought our last one was a recap of the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, not experimental then. Sorry.
What do you consider an experimental episode?
You know, the episode, the classic album showdown episode, Yeah.
Yeah, I guess also the episodes where we have a guest you could call experimental. But we haven't had one of those probably in a couple of years, I think, at this point.
So, Tom, I know you enjoy watching football as I do, and I noticed the other night I was watching a football game, and the Atlanta Falcons owner had inaugurated himself into the Ring of Honor, which is the ring around the football stadium that has famous players' names on it.
That would be Arthur Blank, right? The owner of the Falcons?
Yes, Arthur Blank was inaugurated himself into the Ring of Honor. And I just thought that was interesting. It got me to thinking, like, like what was the meeting like when he walked in and said, hey guys, I've got an idea. And they're like, oh, great. What is it, boss? And he goes, thinking of putting myself into the Ring of Honor. And there was this kind of pause. Nobody was going to say, well, isn't that for players? And also, isn't it a little bit, I don't know, sort of self-centered to just, put yourself. But he walked in there, and I can imagine them all, like there being a brief pause, and then everyone's like, yeah, great. Once again, you have dazzled us with your vision and your incredible foresight, Mr. Blank, right? Can't you just picture that corporate America at its best?
Oh, yeah. I also picture when he walks in, as soon as Mr. Blank starts talking, there would be a couple of people in that meeting who just smile, stare at him, and nod their head. Because I remember people like that from advertising.
Oh, yeah, sure. I've done that in a few meetings, just smile and nod my head when my boss has an inane idea. Sure.
And meanwhile, what you're thinking is, am I going to go to Subway for lunch today or Chipotle?
Now, you just hit on an interesting thing. And this is another thing about NFL owners. You just called him Mr. Blank. What is it about sports team owners, NFL, MLB? I've noticed this. The players call them, Mr. Blank, Mr. Ricketts. Well, if Mr. Ricketts makes them, why is that? These are grown men, that call them Mr. Blank. Have you ever noticed that? It's very odd. Like, it's very childlike. And why wouldn't they just say, well, we hope Tom makes the right moves for our club and all that, instead of it's always Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Blank, Mr. Jones?
Well, the only thing I would say is, I don't think I've ever referred to anybody ever as Mr. With the exception of, like, early in my advertising days, I worked at Ogilvy and Mather, and David Ogilvy was on our floor. And,
oh my God, you never told me this.
No, I didn't actually talk to him. He was kind of wearing a trench coat and just kind of looked a little bewildered, trying to figure out where the certain person's office was he was looking for.
He's like, where's the Coke dispenser I've been hearing about?
But I was all prepared to say, it's very nice to meet you, Mr. Ogilvy, because to me that stature,
of course,
right? But I don't know
Yeah.
where the line is. I mean,
Sure.
he was the owner or the founder of Ogilvy Mather. Arthur Blank is the owner of the Falcons. Is it that owner level? You know?
But yeah, I don't know. By the way, all the advertising youngsters listening to this have no idea who David Ogilvy is. They're like,
Oh, they do. They've read his books, don't you think?
oh, I don't think so.
All right.
Ogilvy on advertising? I don't.
Confessions of an Advertising Man.
That was not David Ogilvy, was it? That was somebody
Yeah.
else.
Confessions of an Advertising Man was
Confessions
Ogilvy.
of an Advertising Man. That's like, yeah, who wrote that? Anyway, yeah, there is a line. I don't know what the line is. But yeah, if you meet a celebrity, like I shot with Colin Powell once, and you meet Colin Powell, you say, Mr. Powell, nice to meet you. That's what you should say. I just think the Mr. blank thing is weird.
Well, and first of all, Confessions of an Advertising Man was written by David Ogilvy. I just checked that. But
Good title.
Thank
Good
you.
title. Well, you didn't come up with it. I'm saying it's a good title he came up with.
Oh, it's his book. Yeah, it was his. That was.
But you said thank you when I said good title. You're doing what advertising people do, which is take credit for other people.
I was thanking
good
myself.
ideas.
I was thanking myself for correctly initially indicating that he had written that book. But anyway, all right.
I just want to say before we get off the Ring of Honor thing that, as you know, if I formed my own advertising agency, it would be called the Gary Doyle Experience. Gary Doyle Experience would be the only ad agency to have a Ring of Honor. If you come up with a good ad campaign, a great one, you'll be inducted into the Ring of Honor. And Gary Doyle, perhaps, will be the first. For the first name in the Ring of Honor will be Gary Doyle.
Right on cue. Your pug George endorses that suggestion.
So there.
I was also going to add in that that the phenomenon of addressing somebody Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. I think extends to celebrities as well. I remember a creative you and I have worked with who was recording Kelsey Grammer, who was the voice of Disney for a while, and he recorded Kelsey Grammer numerous times, and always referred to him as Mr. Grammer.
Sure.
And Mr. Grammer had never once said, "You know what? Call me Kelsey." You know, I just think it's maybe it just goes with that territory. That level of person is kind of self-absorbed to the point of needing that constant, stroking of being called Mr.
If you met the lead singer in the rock band Mr. Mister, would you call him Mr. Mr. Mr.?
I think we should wrap the episode right there.
So there.
I went downtown last week to see a couple of old advertising agency friends, and I hadn't ridden mass transit for a while, and I had when you do it every day, it's a giant it's a giant annoyance. But when you do it every couple of months, all of a sudden it's a bit of a novelty again. And I did make two observations on the train that I wanted to share with you.
Now, is this an L train or a Metra?
No, this is the commuter train, Metra.
Metra.
It's
Yeah, sure.
much more civilized for you out-of-towners. It's more of a suburban train.
Absolutely.
But one of the things, I actually saw a man take out a handkerchief and blow his nose into a handkerchief. And it got me thinking that why, well, first of all, it felt like something that was like out of 40 years ago, but why did handkerchiefs ever actually exist, right? The image of somebody taking out a handkerchief, unfolding it, and looking for a snot-free area to blow their nose, to me paper existed, toilet tissue existed, facial tissues must have existed. Why would you carry a handkerchief? I mean, it's just repugnant to me to think about it. Even after you've washed it, you're going to have those
Then you use it again?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my dad had handkerchiefs, you know? They were folded, nicely folded in his drawer, and he wore a suit to work, and he would have a handkerchief. And I remember when I was a little kid, sometimes he'd offer me his handkerchief if I had sneezed or whatever, you know? But I just, the whole thing with handkerchiefs, can't figure out why they ever really needed to exist.
Well, George was civilized. George is civilized. Your dad. I don't know. Things used to be more civilized, right? I mean, men used to wear hats. You see those pictures of like Kennedy's baseball games. People go to baseball games in the 50s. All the men in the audience are wearing hats. And they're not like stocking caps like dorks wear now. They're actual hats like fedoras. You know, I don't know. People had pocket watches. You see what time it was, and you had this little gold chain hanging from your waist with a beautiful little watch on it, and you'd look and see what time it was.
I hear what you're saying, but to me, it's apples and oranges. To me, a handkerchief would be like why didn't they use a handkerchief for wiping yourself after going to the bathroom? Because obviously, soft paper must have existed, right? Toilet tissue's been around for probably 100 years, you figure, right? Because papers existed.
Yeah.
All right, you know.
Fascinating observation.
Thank you. The other one was just something that became just an absolute irritant to me on this train ride. I was sitting in front of a cereal throat clearer, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And every few seconds it was the clearing the throat. And then what really made me aggravated was when he'd kind of go into the expressive melodic renditions. You know, one of those. And I amused myself, like the train would pull into the station and would stop and let people off, and I'd sit there and say, is he going to clear his throat again before the doors close? And I'd have these little kind of wagering games in my mind. But 45 minutes, the cereal throat clear. I just wished he would just take a good manly hack and just get it out of his throat once and for all.
Well, there's also reminds me of the throat clearer talker. Like they marry throat clearing to talking, like, oh boy, oh wow, you know. Right? It's kind of they mix a message into the throat clearing, or even if it's not intelligible words, they're kind of, you know, suggesting something.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's how I feel about when they do the expressive throat clearing. Kind of like they're saying, "Boy, this has gone on for quite a while." You know,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. It's a message without words.
Just throat clearing in general is fascinating, especially when you separate it out from the physical need to clear your throat. It's actually a nonverbal, like, you know, like Gary, you've gone on too long. You know, shut up now. So anyway, I rode the train and kind of amused myself, and I got all excited because I thought I've got something to talk about on the podcast that we record. So there.
Tom, have you ever heard a radio commercial for O'Reilly Auto Parts?
O'Reilly. I remember the song, but I don't remember the spots.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember how it ends?
Ow!
Yeah, exactly. Ow!
Didn't I make that sound once in a commercial, and I wanted to keep it in the mix? Hey, dun 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 dun. Dun.
That's what made me think of it. So the O'Reilly Auto Parts ends with, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ow! And it got me to thinking that is a trope of advertising where it's meant to make it, I don't know, sound kind of fun and punctuate it and go, ow!
Isn't it also kind of a desperate attempt to appear relevant to the youth of the world who make those sounds?
Yes. that's a thing that advertisers do. Tom, and it reminded me of the time Tom Karamitis did that. So we were doing a mix for I think it was a Pop-Tarts ad, was it not?
It was a spot that you and Jim
Was it
Furr had
not?
worked on, the many moons of Neptune or something. It was all these weird kind of non sequiturs.
I thought it was a Pop-Tarts breakfast crew.
Oh, okay, maybe it was.
Commercial, which everybody loved that campaign. But so the music was chugging along like Tom Karamitis just did. It's just kind of like it was kind of like the Doors "Touch Me," and then we felt like it needed something to push it over the cliff, as David St. Hubin said in Spinal Tap, to push it over the cliff. And Tom Karamitis stepped in the booth and did a "ow." So it went da 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 da. Ow! Da, 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 da.
If I remember, a fight came out of this, one of our many arguments, because what was happening was John Binder, who was mixing it. You know, you end up hearing it.
John Binder, our engineer.
He was mixing it, and of course you hear it like 75 times in the course of an hour, and after a while I just started doing the sound effect, and I fell so in love with my rendition, I asked you if we could put it in the spot, and you didn't want to do it, right? If I remember correctly then, after we had our argument and I pouted for a while, we were almost finished, and the spot all of a sudden sounded naked because my voice wasn't in there doing that stupid effect every time it got to the end of the spot. So then you let me go into the booth and do the "ow." That was my recollection.
Tom asking me to put an "ow" into one of my commercials. It's like asking Paul McCartney, like going on to Paul McCartney and saying, hey man, Let It Be, it's like a good song, but I'm wondering if you could do like this little triangle piece, maybe a little ding 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 at the end of one of the verses, man. It's kind of like that. The same thing.
So you're putting yourself in the same category as Paul McCartney.
Yeah, and my Pop-Tarts commercial in the same category as Let It Be. What's your point? Ow!
Okay, so you know we've kind of effortlessly moved back into the area of marketing and advertising. On that topic, I wanted to ask you if you have any, if there are any advertisers out there who you generally hate everything they do. You know, and because I do, I have one. There's one that I can't stand all their commercials, and there's another one that I love almost all their commercials. And with the one that I can't stand, it probably is. I just envision me not really even liking the creative team. That I just don't connect with them on any level, and everything they make just rubs me the wrong way. I will reveal that client to be Xfinity. Every time I see an Xfinity commercial, I think they're awful. I feel like they were written by people who haven't really developed their craft in this industry yet. They're just trying to, you know, they have an announcer that has vocal fry in her read. They're not funny. I don't like the way they're shot. I don't like the way they're cast. And I just thought, my gosh, that's just. It almost makes me want to get rid of Xfinity as my internet and TV cable provider. That's how much I don't like their commercials.
Tom, are the commercials not the future of awesome?
You know,
though that creative team probably are a-holes. They came up with the future of awesome, and they're like high-fiving each other. Yes.
Yeah, it's a
doesn't
you know, and look,
doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter. Yes.
I will also say that I do realize that I probably aged out of the being the target. Although it's Xfinity, it's not like it's Rue La La, or one of these, fashion brands or something that I was never the target for. I mean, I am still a consumer of internet services and things. I just don't like any of the commercials. And I've started examining them more to see what it is. I mean, everything from, there's one now where they have these overly trendy looking people sitting in what looks like a break room at Xfinity, right? And there's a guy and there's a girl next to him, and they're talking about some other guy who's driving by really slow on a golf cart, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm looking at the close-ups of her, and she has so much stuff on her, both wardrobe and jewelry-wise. I get distracted by that. And I remember somebody once a long time ago telling me, unless the commercial's about wardrobe, you don't want to have the wardrobe become, a distraction. So just on so many different levels, I just find myself really not liking the commercials and feeling like there was no grown up in the room, when they were crafted.
Yeah, there probably wasn't. I think you could say that for most ad campaigns, though, frankly.
On the other side of the coin, I will say I love the progressive campaign, especially the one with Flo and what's his name, Jamie? Is that the guy? I mean, I just feel like they've developed these personalities so well that I just look forward to their interplay. I think they're really well written. I think progressive is, just killing it right now. Love their spots.
Have been for a while. Yes, it's true. It's probably the only advertiser I can think of where you will actually stop when you're fast forwarding through ads. If you've delayed the broadcast, you'll stop and watch it.
Yeah, totally. And you're right. That's very, very unusual. But
yeah, I'm trying to think of an advertiser whose commercials I consistently hate, and I can't think of them because I consistently hate almost all of them. So it's hard to pick one. What do you think of the T-Mobile spots where they're singing, I save $50 at T-Mobile?
Those two guys I can't stand, but there are other spots are running with these two guys. I guess they're comedians. Have you seen them? I don't know if they're brothers, but they put them in a garage and they're wearing suits. And one of them is this.
I've not seen that. I've seen the one is with Zach Braff and that guy.
Yeah, and what they're singing, they always do like
singing. I thought those are kind of charming. Actually, I kind of like those.
They were all right. Yeah, they didn't do anything for me. The T-Mobile spots I just mentioned with these two comedians, I think they're pretty funny. One is always kind of, being real goofy and silly. The other one's kind of the straight man, and they move. They kind of move it along, and it's fun, and I like those. I don't think I haven't seen in a while. I don't know if they're still running those spots.
Yeah, maybe they stopped that. There's kind of a bad progressive one out there now with Peyton Manning talking about, progressive is more than
Peyton?
An insurance
I love that spot.
It's so boring. It's actually a large financial services discipline.
You're talking about when he's painting and he calls himself Peyton Manning? He's doing a self-portrait.
No, maybe.
The teacher comes into the room and she says, "That's really good, Peyton." And he said, "Did you say Peyton or Peyton?" And you can't really tell what she said, and they kind of go back and forth. Frankly, I love everything Peyton Manning tends to do in commercials. I just think he's great.
Maybe I just tuned out after the beginning where, people think Progressive is just an insurance company, but actually they're also a bank. I'm like, okay, I'm done. The first 5 seconds of a commercial are very important, Tom. People skip it.
Well, that one you should watch. I think that one's very well done. Because I'm not just a quarterback. Right. I'm actually also a painter. And you see his little signature, Peyton Manning.
So there. Tom, I'd like to wrap things up on a little observation, a little mandate, a little thing where if I was king of the world,
I decree.
I decree never trust a person with two first names. Right? Like Craig John. Or, never trust a person with two first names. Just don't trust them. They're probably like it's made up, or they're, they used to be a TV anchorman or something. Just don't trust them. The other thing that I would decree is I never quite trust or like somebody whose first name is initials. Your first name is an initial. AJ Hawk, AJ Foyt, the old a-hole race car driver, JD Vance. People that decide that their name's going to be two initials. I think those people are generally unlikable. That lackey partner of Pat McAfee's, AJ Foyt, the a-hole race car driver from my childhood, JD Vance. They're all. I think if you have your first name is initials, you're kind of unlikable, or maybe an a-hole.
All right, now it's interesting. I understand why you'd go there on JD Vance, but AJ Hawk played for the Packers, so is that why you hate him so much? Just because of the jersey he wore?
The concept of initials.
Were there any Bears that had initial names? That's why I'm scanning right now.
J.T. Walsh always played a bad guy in movies. Okay,
but
I think you get what I'm saying.
Well,
do you not agree? Do you not agree?
Well, I'm thinking you're saying.
Just call yourself Arthur John, not AJ.
But you kind of segued, because you started out with people who have two names they're for both first names, right? Gary Johns.
I don't trust them.
Okay, but then you went into people.
I don't like people.
All right, but is it initials or two first names? Because, dude, right? AJ Hawk is different than
they're both
Tom Peters,
they're both bad people.
Tom Peter.
No, it'd be Tom Peter.
Should we wrap this one up?
Yes, I think we've laughed. We've learned. We've loved. So yes, I think we should.
Well, it's summer winds down and we come into the cool days of fall, and hopefully some more frequent episodes of So There. For Gary Doyle, this is Tom Karamitis reminding you all to So There.
So there. What?
It's hard to. So there doesn't really end a sentence very well.
Reminding you all to so there. Are you trying to use a verb as proper noun as verb? Phrase as verb? No. I like that.
So there.
So there.